Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance review. Outrageous. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with a motherfucking fragrance review, of all things. Who would have thunk it? Not me. Anyway, the fragrance we will be reviewing today is from Yves Saint Laurent, and it is a flanker to one of the most famous fragrances ever. And this is Body Kouros, launched in 2000. The perfumer is Annick Minardo. I'm a huge fan. I'm a very big fan. I will come on to this in a minute. This review will follow my tried and tested, trusty format of telling you the notes that I get, and then just discussing the perfume until I am satisfied that I can discuss it no more. So, the notes are eucalyptus and incense at the top, cedar and clary sage in the mid, and then benzoin in the base. Okay, to my nose, what do I get? Eucalyptus, sage, clary sage, benzoin, and a bit of incense. Okay, so before you see my vintage bottle. This bottle, I believe, was released in 2000. I think this bottle's from 2009, but I've been wrong before. It's the original presentation. The newer presentation doesn't have these glass bits sticking out the bottom and the top. Just for clarity, I have smelled the new version and had the new version, and I loved it. And I do love this fragrance. I gave my new bottle to my friend because I got the vintage one. And as I am wont to do, as you know me by now, I am all about the vintage bottles. Where I can get a modern bottle and a vintage bottle, if I can get both, I'll take the vintage. That's just me. That's my collection. That's what I want to do. Okay? So, but I'm not opposed or above owning a modern bottle of something if I like it. And I think the reformulation of this is actually surprisingly good. I think YSL do actually take care of their fragrances, unlike a lot of brands. That said, Opium for women it's not even a shadow of its former self. I don't know what's like. It's a pale shadow of its former self, a pale imitation of a shadow of its former self, you know? That was not taken care of, but that's hardly surprising. Opium was very late 70s in its makeup, you know? Very hard to imagine any kind of fragrance like that being released now. The closest thing I've smelled to it recently is Camel by Zoologist, but never mind that. This is Body Kouros. So for me, Body Kouros, I've had this for a long time and didn't wear it for a long time, and I was getting prepared to smell it. I was getting prepared to sell it. I'd smelled it many times. Just put some smells on there. And I thought, bollocks, I'll give it another go and wear it fully in a few times, and I have now heartily decided to keep it. This is a brilliant fragrance made by a brilliant nose, Annick Minardo. She is the perfumer behind Body Kouros, obviously. Jaipur Pour by Boucheron. She did Boss Bottled for men. She did Bois d'Argent by Dior, which should already just put her in the Hall of Fame based on that perfume alone. And I can kind of get vibes of all of those fragrances, even Boss Bottled for Men, which is a strange thing to say, in this fragrance. This is nothing like the original, so don't think this is like one of those fragrances where it's like a twist on the original, like the Amen line used to do. They had Amen, and then they would have Amen Pure Malt, which was Amen with malt. Pure Havane, which was Amen with cherry and tobacco. You know, that's not what this is. This is a completely different fragrance, yet it's probably one of the most coherent flankers. I had Kouros Fraser, and I had the Sport, and I thought they were just not right. They were much more similar to the original. But for me, this fits with the original simply because it's almost completely the opposite. You know, like yin and yang, you know? You could wear Kouros in X, Y, and Z situations, and then for every situation that Kouros didn't fit, you could wear this instead. And in that way, they're kind of bound together forever, you know? They are almost exact opposites. It opens with this kind of fresh, soapy, slightly minty, herbal, vanillic quality. All these things go on at once, bound together by cedar note. Cedar doesn't play a massive role in the fragrance, but if it wasn't there, I think the fragrance wouldn't work. It then settles down and the eucalyptus becomes very prominent along with the sage. You get the freshness, the cleanness, the soapiness from the sage, the clary sage, I should say, not the sage. And the eucalyptus kind of sticks around for most of the fragrance. It only really goes away into after 5-6 hours. So well into the back of the mid. And it's offset by the incense at the beginning. So you get this kind of dryness at the beginning, which strangely burns off a lot quicker than the eucalyptus. You'd expect the eucalyptus to go a lot quicker, but it doesn't. The eucalyptus stays throughout the fragrance until the very late, mid, early dry down. The benzoine's always in play. The benzoine is always apparent, but it becomes a larger and larger proportion of the fragrance the longer the fragrance wears. And the other notes sort of bow out slowly, very coherently again. The incense, the dryness kind of wears away, and then you're left with the soapy sage, the eucalyptus, which is decreasing at a much slower rate, and the benzoine. The benzoine's like this milky, creamy, soapy-like accord because of the sage and the cedar as well. Again, the cedar's like a thread, but a small thread that runs through the fragrance. But again, it keeps it coherent. The eucalyptus, as I said, dies off very, very slowly. And you are left with a clean, fresh, bright, benzoine, vanillic, soapy, fresh, amber fragrance. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's for me, it's much better than Jaipur Porom. Jaipur Porom's like a cheap version of this. I think this is where she nailed the benzoine resinous kind of vibe. Excuse me. Which she then developed further with Iris into Bois d'Argent, which is an incredible fragrance. One day I'll review that. I'm just taking a run up to it. This fragrance lasts on me all day, no problem at all. It's fresh, it's clean, it's creamy, it's warm. Absolutely sensational. I highly recommend that you try it. It's still available in shops, if not on the website. And I hope you have enjoyed this review, my friends. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon.